and gentlemen, the story you are about to see is true.
And when I got to my destination, they called 911, and I was taken to the hospital. I think it was Sunrise Hospital. I told them Dr. Murray was my cardiologist, and he was out of town, and he had a covering doctor who saw me at the hospital.
You're referring to Dr. Conrad Murray?
Yes.
The man sitting to my left here?
Yes.
All right.
Indicating the defendant, Dr. Murray.
You had been treated by Dr. Murray for some time prior to your heart attack, is that right?
Yes, because I don't know what year it was, but probably about 1995, I had had a heart attack. Las Vegas, my primary care doctor Dr. Conrad Murray referred me to him. Basically, he took care of me through those years.
You had your first heart attack, you said, in 2008? Or...
In Vegas, yes.
And during the period of time that Dr. Murray was treating you, Ms. Sampson, did he perform any procedures on you?
He performed many procedures on me. He found out that I had blockages in my heart. He repaired that. And I also had peripheral artery disease. I'm a diabetic. It could be related to that. So I didn't want to go through the testing, of course, so I tried to be better. What actually happened is I ended up having a second heart attack in February.
What happened after you had your second heart attack? Did you go see Dr. Murray?
Dr. Murray treated me, at that time, 3 blockages in my heart. And he repaired 2 of them and made preparation to repair the other one at a later date.
Do you have an opinion about whether Dr. Murray treats his patients with care and caution?
I'll be very honest with you. I have never had a doctor that was more caring. Never. And Dr. Murray is a very caring doctor. He is a very thorough doctor. I don't understand to this day how the other doctor missed what was wrong with me, but Dr. Murray found what was wrong. And he also looked in my legs, and no doctor mentioned that, and never looked there, and found out that I had an arterial disease in my legs.
Is Dr. Murray the type of, do you have an opinion about whether Dr. Murray is the type of person to just rush through things, rush through procedures?
No, Dr. Murray is not the type to rush through procedures. Anyone knows that. Please forgive me for laughing, but when we come, we know we're going to be there a while because he's very careful to take care of his patients.
Do you have an opinion about whether Dr. Murray is greedy or money hungry or does things just for money?
I know Dr. Murray's not greedy or money hungry. He's taking care of patients. First of all, I was not anyone that had any money. He's taking care of patients pro bono. I know for a fact that he's helped people that haven't had any money, even to the point of helping them to get medication. I know. When I say medication, I mean if they didn't have money to pay for their prescriptions, he helped them get their prescriptions when they needed it. So he helps anyone that needs help.
Thank you, Ms. Sampson. Pass the witness.
Thank you, Mr. Walgren.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Good morning, Ms. Sampson.
Good morning.
Ms. Sampson, who contacted you to first ask you to give information about your care from Dr. Murray? I learned from Miranda that she worked for Media Masters.
Objection to relevance.
I'll overrule the objection.
She worked for Media Masters.
I didn't know who she worked for, so I didn't know anything about.
Well, didn't you email her at miranda@mediamastersonline.net?
I couldn't swear to that.
Okay, it's possible.
It's possible, but I can't remember the email address.
And did you subsequently learn that Media Masters is a public relations firm that works for lawyers?
I didn't learn anything concerning that situation. I was just trying to be helpful.
All right. But you did send an email to her explaining what you've shared with us today?
Yes. The only thing I knew is that he told me he was going to take a 1-year sabbatical and that he was going to London. He never once mentioned Mr. Jackson, ever.
I have to refer you to another doctor because
Yes.
he's closing his practice for a year.
Yes.
And you didn't ask him why he was closing his practice?
He said he was taking a sabbatical, so it wasn't any need to ask him. I was a little bit in despair because I didn't understand who was going to take care of me, and I just didn't trust my care to just anyone because of what had happened in the past.
Now, again, all of your care from Dr. Murray was involved problems with your heart, correct?
Yes.
And the medical procedures you indicated they occurred at a hospital, and you specifically said one of them was Sunrise Hospital.
That's where I was treated first, yes.
I'll sustain the objection. You can preface everything with "have you heard" and restart because of the dates.
Have you heard that Dr. Murray received a discipline letter in which a patient, they informed Dr. Murray a patient had had pulsation problems due to blood in a tubing alarm, that a call was placed to Dr. Murray at 11 o'clock a.m., another call was placed to his answering service at 11:05 a.m., that he did not return the call until 12:41 p.m., at which point Dr. Murray advised that the hospital call a different doctor.
Objection to the form of the
That
question.
All right. The objection's overruled. This is all in the context of "have you heard." You may continue.
And then at 1:07
It's a
p.m.,
compound question.
Overruled.
the hospital informed Dr. Murray that another doctor was not available. That Dr. Murray then said, "We'll have a nurse call a different doctor," and that eventually Dr. Murray showed up at 1:56, approximately 3 hours after the initial call, and that in that letter they expressed the concern that there was a serious risk of blood clotting. Have you heard about that discipline letter from Sunrise Hospital?
No, why would I hear about that? But Dr. Murray didn't treat me at Sunrise. It was his covering doctor treated me at Sunrise, I believe.
And let me ask you about that. The first doctor that treated you, you felt he made mistakes, correct?
I know he did.
Okay. And Dr. Murray was able to review all the medical records of that first doctor to find out exactly what had happened.
Yes.
Right? Because that first doctor maintained all those medical records and provided them to Conrad Murray, correct?
Yes, I was
Thank you.
supposed. Yes.
For this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
I met you last night for the first time.
Yes, sir.
Is that right? Prior to that, where did you live?
I lived in Las Vegas.
What do you know the man sitting here to my left?
Mr. Conrad Murray.
Indicating the defendant, Dr. Murray.
How do you know him, Mr. Hicks?
When I moved to Las Vegas, I just know he fixed it.
So after Dr. Murray said, "I can fix that," what procedure did you get, or were you involved in that fixed it?
I went into the hospital. He does his procedures all at once. He gives you the angiogram, and if there's something wrong, he fixes it on the spot. So when he gave me that, he found out that I was indeed blocked. Although he already knew that, because he gave me tests that showed my heart, and he took the X-rays and he said, "Here, this is where your heart is blocked," and I could clearly see that my heart was all blocked. And then when he was done, he gave me 7 stents the first month, and then he showed me I've cleared this half out with the X-rays. And then approximately a month to a month and a half later, he gave me the final 6 or 7. And when he was done, I was good to go.
Showed patience and loyalty to his patients. Would you have an opinion about that?
I would.
What would that opinion be?
Well, I'm 66. I've gone to a lot of doctors, and I've never had one who gave me the care that he did.
What about greed?
When I went to see him, I had a type of insurance that didn't hardly pay for nothing. And I explained to him I can't really afford to do a lot of stuff, so he did it for me free. But also, I got the stents in 2000, but he was also my doctor. When I got sick, I'd go see him.
And he was was he your next door neighbor? Is that what you said?
No, his children lived next to me.
He did not?
No.
Did he?
No.
Thank you.
When did you learn that he was going to be Michael Jackson's personal doctor?
I didn't even know it until I seen it on TV.
So he never told you that?
No.
So he just sent you a letter and you got it in the mail and it said, "I'm no longer your doctor. I'm taking a sabbatical"?
It wasn't quite like that.
Mr. Chernoff, you may call your next witness.
It's Ruby Mosley, Judge.
Thank you.
And for me, do you solemnly state that the testimony you may give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. And when you say very
I'm
knowledgeable.
asking you, does this refresh your recollection as to what you told Mr. Chernoff?
Yes,
Okay. So did you describe Dr. Murray as an encyclopedia?
very knowledgeable.
Very precise on details?
Yes,
Okay, able to recite details regarding medical care?
yes,
Past appointments, things of that nature. You can recite the care that's been given and the plan of action for future care.
yes,
And in that respect, would you call him an encyclopedia, detail-oriented?
if that's the word you want to use, I would call it very informed doctor.
And able to recount and recite details as it relates to medical care?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Mosley.
Ms. Mosley, what do you mean by very knowledgeable?
What do I mean by very knowledgeable?
Yes.
Very proactive,
Proactive?
very,
Right.
extremely,
What do you mean?
very knowledgeable, very proactive, and took time with the patients.
During the period of time that Dr. Murray, after Dr. Murray opened his practice, he would come every 2 weeks, is that right?
Yes.
And would there be lots of patients to see him?
Oh, yes.
This judge is calling to seek counsel more than any other judge I've ever seen. It's like he's carefully managing this case, witness by witness. But you have to admit that these character witnesses, they're not fact witnesses as to the death of Michael Jackson, but as to the character of the man who's accused of causing the death of Michael Jackson. These character witnesses have to be making an impression on the jury that this Conrad Murray or Robert Earl Carter or whatever his name is a caring physician. And that is the whole point of character witnesses. Is this man truly a caring physician? Did he get so far in debt by giving free care to people that could not afford it, that he finally found himself faced with child support orders that he could not pay and other bills he could not pay because he cared so much for other people, that he saw Michael Jackson's overseas tour as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity?
Ladies and gentlemen, as I'm used to doing, I'm going to explain to you that we have another scheduling issue. I became aware that this was a definite scheduling issue early this morning, right before we took the session. So what we're going to do is we're going to excuse you for the rest of today. Once again, I don't know for sure.
Well, that's it for today. What we've seen this morning is a fairly effective character support, Conrad Murray, by Mr. Dixon and these other women who say he took great pains to give them very good care. And it's easy to see why Michael Jackson would be attracted to a man who's done so much pro bono work. None of this testimony by character witnesses, however, defeats the fact that Murray delayed at least 30 minutes before calling 911. Nor does any of these character witnesses defeat, though it may ameliorate, the fact that he did not tell the medics and he did not tell the emergency room that he had pumped Michael full of propofol and he wasn't even sure how much because he had not kept records that night. These facts are not in dispute. And the only way I can see Conrad Murray defeating is by Conrad Murray himself taking the witness stand and testifying that he was so upset at finding Michael not breathing, not functioning, that he was beside himself. And if Conrad Murray does take the witness stand and make statements to that effect, the jury may very well conclude this was just a horrible accident.